Nice in the building. Coming to you loud and clear from the LMA Broadcasting Studios, man. We in the building on this magnificent manic Monday morning. And I told y'all, I had a surprise for y'all. But listen, this is what we're going to do. I didn't get y'all Friday, and I'm not going to forget y'all today. We're not going to get into the all request hour. What we're going to do, we're just going to push it back into the 12 o'clock hour because I really got this special surprise for you. And I want you to know that it's going to be well worthwhile. This is going to be an interactive interview, so the phone lines are definitely open. You can reach us here at 443-267-6558. Again, that's 443-267-6558. Now, the wait is over. My man, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them who you are.
What up? This is your boy Brandon B.Saved Bennett, and I am the debut author of Prison Break. Yes.
Wow. This is going to be action-packed, y'all, man. So y'all might want to get a pen and pad, take some notes, and definitely keep it informed, all right? We're going to get into this conversation real quick. Hey, Brandon, so before we get started, man, why don't you tell them how the journey came about when you ended up with the book?
Oh, wow. With Prison Break, I was ignited to write this book when I was at a conference. I was at a leadership conference, and a prophetic word was spoken over my life that I was to write a book. I never really looked at myself as writing a book. I always read books, but God saw it fit for me to go ahead and write a book that's pertaining to the strongholds that I dealt with in my life. And once that was just put upon me, the title came to, and it was called Prison Break. I began writing it. It took about 6 months to write, and I published it right after writing it. So pretty much right after writing it, I published it in July of 2018.
So you're self-published?
Yes, it's self-published.
Now, let's elaborate on the title a little bit. The title is Prison Break. So, and looking at the cover of the book, it automatically is going to make you think about some troubles and trials and tribulations. Give us a little bit of insight on what the book is.
Correct. Well, Prison Break, it's about. Well, let me start about the cover, because when people see the cover, they automatically ask me, how long you been in prison? Da da da. I'm like, well, I haven't been in prison. I haven't did any time. I have caught some charges and stuff like that, but I've been fortunate not to do any time. But Prison Break is about the strongholds of the mind. It's about strongholds that you're dealing with in your life. I dealt with pornography addiction, dealt with feelings of rejection, feelings of hopelessness. So these were the things that kept me in prison and kept me from actually living the life that I'm truly destined to live.
Wow. Now, when you talk about the different things, you briefly mentioned things like a porn addiction and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Is this book a how-to guide to overcome those things, or is it basically telling your story?
Well, what it is, it's my story, and I do there are some nuggets inside of the book that I believe will help anybody that's dealing with any type of struggle. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same struggle that I'm dealing with, but I do actually have a formula inside of the book, and it's called Formula 25, and I believe that formula actually will work for anyone that's dealing with any type of struggle.
And I just noticed right here, man, that they're saying that you're now an ordained elder. So is this book inspired you to become an elder, or your walk with Christ inspired the book?
Oh, it's definitely my walk with Christ, man. Definitely. All day my walk with Christ has inspired me to write this book. I was ordained an elder in 2017. Didn't expect it, but that's just the way God does things. So.
All right, let's go back a couple years. Let's talk about who Brandon Bennett is. Let's go back into your teenage years and talk about the life struggles and your walk as a teenager turning into a man. Tell us a little bit about that.
As a teenager, as a person, I've always been this type of introvert. I've always been an introvert. A person that was shy, a person that wanted to be. I wanted to be seen, but I didn't want to be seen. So I did find myself caught up in different crowds. So at the age of 14, I started selling drugs, and that's because I wanted money. I wasn't able to have a job at that age, so I decided, hey, well, I guess this is another way that I can make some money. You know, I can't get a job right now, so let me just go out here and try to sell some drugs and make some money this way. I was this type of kid that even in the same way when I was in the streets, I feel like I was this guy that was still giving wisdom while I was in the streets. You know, I was still try to guide guys in the right way, even though we in the streets doing the wrong thing.
Right.
What else?
Well, with you being a dad, and I ask everyone this question that necessarily didn't come up on the right side of the fence. I mean, because everybody at some point in time has been on that wrong side of the fence, whether it was minor or major.
Mm-hmm.
With you being a dad, is that a story that you tell your kids, or is that something that you try to keep from them because you don't want them to know that side of their dad?
No, I definitely keep it open and keep it true with them. Let them know, this is what I dealt with. I believe in just being honest with them, and not holding anything back from them, because you want them to see that, that I'm a real person, and that I've gone through things, and things that they may go through in secret. I'm able to let them know, look, I went through that. So yeah, I try not to keep anything back from my kids.
If it was one thing that you could say to today's youth, being in the position that you're in now, gone through everything that you've gone through, what is it the one thing that you would say to them that would be a priority that you wanted to get across to them?
One of the biggest things I would tell the youth is learn how to respond to situations. And that's one of the major problems in life, is that we find ourselves in trouble because we don't know how to respond to certain situations. We don't know how to respond when someone speaks to us in an ignorant way. We don't know how to respond when we feel like somebody's belittling us. I believe it's all about your response and how you respond to the situation, and just your response. I believe it's your response.
Now, is Prison Break, is this book designed to make the youth better, or is it more so, because I reading it, I see that it's geared a lot to men. So are you taking the angle of, if I fix the head of the household, I can fix the youth, or is it like a book for everyone that can be inspired to change the ways in their lives that they're going through?
Well, it's definitely geared towards men. It's definitely geared towards men, and of course, because I'm a man myself, so it's geared towards men. So I want, anybody can read the book, but this is really directed towards the man. Like you said, the man is the head of the household, and if once the enemy gets hold of the man of the household, then it's over. And we gotta be, as men, we gotta be the ones that put our foot down. We gotta be the ones that that use the authority that we have, and stand as men, and not let these fears, or let these addictions and these things hold us back for being who we're called to be. So again, this book is definitely geared towards my men. It's definitely geared towards not being a simple guide towards breaking you out of prison, because this is my story. So this is actually geared towards having men, opening men up to be vulnerable, and being able to just talk about their situations, because I find that's one of the biggest problems with men. We don't want to talk. We don't want to gather up and talk about our situations. But with this book, this allowed me to be very open, be very transparent about what transpired in my life, and I just want to motivate other men to be able to have the same boldness to come forth and speak about those things that's holding you captive.
All right, this is what we're gonna do now. I'm looking at 4 or 5 key points that you made in the book. I'm gonna give you a key point, and I want you to elaborate on it and what it was that you went through with those situations. Okay?
Okay, cool.
Rejection. For me, rejection wasn't as so much as to what people or a person did to me. It was actually how I perceived it. Mm-hmm. See, rejection can actually be a good thing. It's actually how your perspective of it is.
And my perspective of the rejection was that nobody wanted me or that I wasn't good enough. But I had to, at that young age, I wasn't able to really perceive that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to, once I became mature enough in Christ, I was able to see that rejection is actually not a bad thing. It actually sets me apart, and it's showing me that, you know, I'm still able to be who I'm called to be, whether somebody, you know, wants to choose to be around me or choose not to be around me. But it's my decision whether I want to feel like I'm accepted or not.
Okay. Depression.
Depression. Depression. For that depression thing, I smoked a lot of weed. I smoked a lot of weed, and I thought that would just take it away. And I love my Remy Martin. I thought that would take it away, but that wasn't the case neither. You know, I had to be open. I had to be honest with myself. I had to come before people and let them know, like, this is what I'm dealing with. Being transparent, having people in your corner that you can talk to about these things. This is definitely what released me from that pressure of depression. Being able to have wise counsel in my corner to talk about these things.
Now, as we're talking about depression, how bad did it get for you? Did it get to the point where it consumed your life? Were you still able to function through the depression, or it was just something that you felt was just a part of your life? Did it consume your life, or was it just a part of your life?
I think, well, for parts of my life, it consumed my life. Mm-hmm. It kept me stagnated. It kept me from being productive, you know, because it just weighted on my mind, like, you know, this is who you are and this is who you're gonna be, and, you know, you'll never get over it. But through my relationship with Christ and diving in the Word, I just came to know that this is not who I am. I rebuke depression. You know, depression doesn't take over me. You know, so I take authority over it. So it's me. At the end of the day, I'm the one that takes authority over anything that tries to hinder me from going forward. So again, I took authority over depression. I cast that thing out, and I keep it moving.
Wow. All right. And pornography addiction.
Porn addiction, man. This was the biggest thing. I became addicted between like the ages of 9 and 11, and through some magazines that my stepfather had brought into the home. And just those images that, you know, that I would gaze at and masturbate to and all of that stuff, it continued to be in my mind throughout the years. And how I came over it again, this was being open and being vulnerable, coming to people, telling my pastor about it, you know, telling again, wise counsel, good friends that I can talk to about it, and, you know, they'll pray with me about it, and, you know, we'll have talk to my wife about it, you know, be honest with her about it, and we'll have put steps in place so that I won't fall to this trap again. So and to be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's not a struggle, but today I declare that I'm not addicted. But it's still a struggle because pornography is everywhere you go. You got soft porn, whatever, like. Even on Instagram, Facebook, you know, it's just images everywhere. So you gotta guard your heart, you gotta guard your eyes, you gotta guard your mind, because it's everywhere. So so the pornography addiction, man, it just gotta be open, be vulnerable, be ready to talk to, again, wise counsel. Don't just put your business out there to, you know, to anybody that just wanna how can I say, just throw you under the bus.
Let's talk about this for a second. Why is porn addiction? Why is that such a bad thing? And you may mention that you are married. I think if we was to ask your wife, if she had to choose between you and pornography and you and Kiki down the street, I think she would choose the pornography. But explain to us about having a porn addiction is such a bad thing.
Man, it corrupts your mind. It's worse than I've never done cocaine, but I believe it's worse than using cocaine.
Wow.
It corrupts your mind. You know, it has you in this place where you are literally hypnotized. And, you know, to be honest, like, I remember times where I would be home, and I would be sitting watching porn, and the time would go by, like I'm telling you, like hours and hours and hours, and next thing I know,
Wow.
I wasted all this time. So, it robs you of time. It robs you of treasure. It robs you. It just robs you of so much, man. It robs you of self-dignity. It robs you of your identity. So pornography is nothing to be played with. It's not this thing where I'm just gonna do it this one time. Just because I need to get this off. No, like one time will turn into a million times, and it's a tough addiction to break.
With having a porn addiction, is that reclassified the same as being a sex addict, or are they two different addictions?
For me, I would think they're two different addictions. Now, I'm not a specialist on that,
Mm-hmm.
so I would just say they're two different addictions.
Now, with you being married and having addiction as such as a porn addiction, do you involve your mate in this, or is it just about me? This is like my marbles. I'm playing with my marbles. Don't touch my marbles.
What you mean?
Would you share in the porn? Do you and your wife, would y'all watch it together?
Oh no, definitely not. And again, I wouldn't even bring that to my wife. That's straight disrespectful.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. No.
Wow, that's deep. I mean, I guess some people really don't understand the magnitudes of different addictions. When you hear the word addiction, you automatically think drugs, things of that nature. But you could be addicted to a multitude of things. You could be addicted to food.
Mm-hmm.
You could have OCD, be addicted to putting things in a cabinet a certain way. So addictions are bad, regardless of what the addiction is. Now, you already told us that you once sold drugs. You told us that you use drugs. How do you go from selling drugs, using drugs, to take the walk that you are now to become an elder, a man of God, and wants to promote a much positive word for men?
Well, I got tired.
Mm-hmm.
I just got tired of doing something that wasn't giving me true satisfaction. I kept chasing. With selling drugs, you just keep chasing something that's never ending.
Right.
And you just keep chasing it. And with using drugs, you're using this to suppress those feelings, to suppress that depression. But after it's gone, after you spent the money and after you smoke the weed, the stronghold, the depression is still there. So I got tired of it. So it was not till that I actually had met my wife that I really got deep into living a life with Christ. And I knew about Christ, and I knew the religious aspect of him, but I didn't really know the relationship part about him. So, but it wasn't until that I met my wife that I really became, how can I say, I just started wanting to walk with Christ, and I wanted to get rid of everything that wasn't good for me, the drink, the smoke, trying to sell drugs, and just doing stuff the wrong way.
Mm. All right, now as we go through the chapters in your book, the first chapter, chapter 1, it says in the beginning, and then it says the hand that was dealt. What does that chapter cover?
Well, that just covers, again, from when I was born. It covers from the moments I talk about my relationship with my father. It covers some instances when I talk about, help me Lord. I talk about, got stuck.
Cliff notes.
I talk about when some things that I actually wanted to be, how I wanted to be like other people. I talk about how I wanted my family to be like other families, and I wanted to stay around certain families because my family didn't have what they have. So I just talk about just the beginning of my life.
You touched on your relationship with your dad. Was your dad in the household with you growing up?
No, he wasn't in the household with me.
Did y'all have a decent relationship though?
The relationship was cool, but it wasn't a relationship where as though I saw my father, all the time. It was pretty much like, well, when I was young, it was more that I seen him kind of consistently, but as I got older, it started to fade away. So it was almost like a twice a year thing.
Do you think that made a difference in your life and your upbringing?
Yeah, definitely.
And then another part of chapter 1, it says, I want what they got. What do you mean by that chapter?
That's it right there. When I say I want what they got, I talk about a particular family, and this was a friend of mine. I talk about a particular family that I stayed around. I stayed over their house, and I just liked the model of their family. So it was like I wanted what they got. I didn't have this particular friend of mine. He had a father and a mother in the household. I didn't. I would have to go back home. Just for me and my mom and my brother.
Right.
And I wanted what they had. So that's where I want what they got was about.
And it's funny that you said that you would go back home to your mom. We have what's called the question of the day here on the Movie Midday Madness show. And Thursday's question was, can a single parent successfully raise a child of the opposite sex? So we was just discussing about your relationship with your dad and all. So it's clear that you were raised solely by your mom. Do you feel that your mom did a decent job in helping you to become a better man?
Yeah, definitely. I think she did the best that she could as a woman. Being a woman, I believe that of course a woman can't show a man how to be a man.
Right.
A woman can only show them what's in their DNA. What's embedded in them. And but I believe that my mother did the best that she could, and it's actually showing right now. So shout out to my mom. Love you, Mom.
Definitely. And then it says chapter 2, Fallen, a felon is born. Elaborate on that a little bit.
Fallen, that pretty much talks about the porn addiction. It talks about how the enemy, how the devil, he has lured me into living this life of sin at a young age. And so that's what Fallen is about. Fallen definitely talks about, that's pretty much the beginning of how I talk about the porn addiction.
All right, moving on to chapter 3, first time for everything.
First time for everything. Wow, yeah. First time for everything. First time I had sex. First time I smoked weed. First time I started selling drugs. That's pretty much what the first time for everything is. So I go through different stories in that chapter.
Okay. Time to not, soul to soul.
Time to not, soul to soul. This particular chapter talks about some instances with different females that I've dealt with throughout my life, and how sexual encounters with them led to soul ties. And these soul ties, they follow you. They follow you throughout your life. And for instances, you could be somewhere, you can hear a certain song, and that song will remind you of that person, right. Because that was your song. Or you could be somewhere and smell a certain perfume, and that perfume will remind you of that person, and that's because your souls have been tied, because of sexual intercourse.
Right. Now, chapter 5, it goes back to rejection and abandonment. And we spoke on that briefly, but one thing that's catching my eye right now, it says, "Get me out this cell." At what point did you realize, or were you started equating the rejection piece and everything you was going through as being in prison?
Well, really, I really noticed it as prison once I became a believer. So I didn't, back then I didn't understand it. I just thought I was just being rejected, but through revelation of what the Lord has given me, that that it was a prison. And my mind was locked up. I was limited. My thinking was limited, and So that's how I recognized that it was a prison, and that was just through revelation from the Lord.
And once you realized that you were in prison, did you seek to be released, or it just gradually happened on its own?
Well, I wanted to be released. Now, once I realized it, no, I didn't. I just kept. I was at a point where I was like, well, maybe I can kind of get through this on my own. But it came to a point that I had to be open again, going back to being open and being accountable and being vulnerable and just telling people, this is what I feel like I'm going through, and I need help.
Definitely. And those that's listening right now, if you have any questions for Brandon, please feel free to reach us here at the station at 443-267-6558. Again, that's 443-267-6558. You can reach us on social media. On Facebook, it's WMEG Radio. Instagram is WMEG_radio. Twitter is at WMEG Radio. All right, jumping back into the book, man. Chapter 7, when you saying porn, pleasure, in prison, is this as an adult, or are you still talking about your porn addiction as a child?
I actually talk about both. So I go back in depth into the story of how it started, and then I dive into some things as an adult. Also, I give you pretty much give you some nuggets on how to stay free. On some things to do to keep you from going back in that trap. I actually give some comparisons to a tree as far as what a tree needs. A tree needs water. A tree needs water to live. A tree needs a certain type of environment to grow properly. And just as people, we need the same thing. We need water to live. We need certain foods. We need certain foods to eat. And we need to be in certain environments or around certain communities in order to grow properly. So I also believe that if you're in a destructive community, then 9 times out of 10 you're going to be destructive as well. But if your community is a community that tries to edify you and build you up, then you're going to come out just like that.
What's the difference between having a porn addiction and just utilizing porn for entertainment? Is there a difference?
I think it may be a difference. I think an addiction is something that you're just constantly at it. Now, if someone does it, I guess just for hearing their entertainment, I'm not going to say that it's not an addiction, but it can grow to be an addiction. And again, I'm not saying to even go ahead and do it, because I'm not condoning it. Right. So let's get that straight right now. I'm not condoning it, but at the same time, it can be an addiction once you continue and just continue to want it and do it. So that's what I believe it as it to be an addiction.
All right. Chapter 8, the rabbit making attempts.
The rabbit making attempts, that's about just making an attempt on my own to try to be free. Making an attempt on my own to try to be free from not only that addiction, but just from other things, mental strongholds. So again, that came back to having to be open, having to be honest, having to be open with my wife, having to be open with my fellow brothers in Christ, and let them know that this is the situation that I'm dealing with, and trying to be free.
You make a lot of reference to your wife, so I take it that she's 100% supportive of your project that you're working on right now?
Definitely.
And what do you say to the naysayers, those that don't believe in what it is that you're doing right now?
What you mean, like don't believe in what?
that don't believe in what it is that you're doing, that feel like the purpose of this book is not a valued purpose.
Well, I really try not to think about those people. You're going to have those people anyway. So that's just evidence that I'm moving in the right direction. So I can applaud them for being who they are. If you want to, look at it and think that what this is not something that's going to edify people and something that's going to point people in the right direction, then you're entitled to your own opinion. But I'm still focused on the mission that, that the Lord got me on. So regardless of what anybody else may think, I'm going to continue to keep it moving.
Wow. And if you had one thing that you wanted to make happen from the purpose of this book, what would that one thing be? What is the one thing that you want them to gain from this book?
Man, I want people to be open. Be able to just communicate. That's one of the biggest problems in society, especially with men, that we don't want to communicate, about our problems, and we just got to be open, man, and lay it all out on the table. Because the moment you lay something out, that same person that's sitting next to you, they could be dealing with the same thing, and you could just set them free just by being open about, whatever it is you're dealing with. So again, you may not be dealing with pornography. It could be anything. It could be, gambling. It could be anything. I don't know. You may spend your money on your, take your rent money and just blow it and do crazy stuff. I don't know, but like we just got to be open to talk about whatever it is, the problems that we have, our struggles, and not be in that place like waiting to be condemned from whoever you want to tell.
Wow, that's deep right there, man. If you could put this book in the library right now, would you rather put it in the library so everyone can just get it at will, or is it more so that you need to be in a Q&A session so not only did they get the book, but you can go more in depth and give them a little bit more insight on it?
Well, actually, it's funny that you said about getting in the library. It's actually already in the library right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's actually in it's in Baltimore County Public Library. Not sure if it's in the city yet, but we definitely want to work towards getting it there. So so it's in Baltimore County Public Library. And as far as the Q&A session, yeah, I'm definitely open for that. So both is cool for me.
With the whole process of creating a book, what's the difference between just sitting down and putting everything on paper so people can read your story, as opposed to you going out every day and having to form like a minister or something like that to try to get your story across?
Come say the question again.
What's the difference between putting your story down in a book and having them read it, as opposed to using a platform like a minister or something like that to get your point across?
Oh man, well, as far as writing it is more personal. It's more personal, and it spoke to me before it could speak to anybody else. So this book set me free, or spoke to me before it spoke to anybody else. As far as ministering in a public setting, that's just being able to let people see who you are, and let people see that, that you're a real person, and I'm just able to just let people really see the emotions. People, you may can feel the emotions through reading a book or something like that, but it's different when you're sitting in front of a person, talking to them, and you looking them eye to eye. Excuse me, and you're able to really get that the truth from them. So I like being in a setting where I can talk to people and be able to pour into people. So that's cool.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of texts over here, man. I've been telling them, their questions are for you, not for me. They can call in and ask their questions, man. So if you want to call in, please feel free to call in at 443-267-6558. Please, you go talk to my man Brandon Bennett right here on WMEG. And all of those that can't get through with the text, you can reach us on social media at WMEG Radio on Facebook. You can reach us at Instagram, WMEG_radio, and Twitter is at WMEG Radio, all right? I noticed that you had a couple books with you today, Brandon. What are we going to do with them?
I got a couple books that I'm giving away. I got 2 books that I'm going to give away to, I guess, whatever number caller you want to call in. And we're gonna give these 2 books away.
All right, y'all heard it first here right here at WMEG. So the first person to give us a call here at WMEG gonna get an autographed book from my man Brandon Bennett. All right. And so you're a dad, man. How old are your kids right now?
The oldest is 18. She just got her license.
Oh, you old. Wow.
The youngest is 10, and the middle is 15.
He has an 18-year-old. He looks like he about 13 himself. And he's coming. He told me he's somebody's father. He's 18. So I saw that you had posted she had just got a license the other day. Did she get the whole daddy car?
We're gonna think about that.
He said we're gonna think about that, man. Well, you got a caller right here, Brandon. Let's get the call on the line, okay?
Okay.
Caller, you there?
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Who are we speaking with?
I'm doing well and yourself. Thank you.
I'm well.
Who are we speaking with, caller?
This is Chantra.
Hey, Sean Trey.
Hey, Chandra.
That sounds like Mercy scheduling center. Is this Mercy?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
This is Cha-Cha.
Hey, Brandon, let me tell you about these ladies, man. These ladies been rocking with me since day one, man.
Wow.
And I really appreciate them supporting the brother. And it's funny that she calling in because you taking over their hour right now, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the 11 o'clock hour is usually about Mercy Scheduling Center because they get to request whatever they want to hear. So the fact that she's calling in, I really appreciate you calling in, Cha-Cha. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling well. I appreciate all the wonderful music you play all day from 10 to 2.
Definitely, man. We got you, and I'm glad that y'all locked in. Well, first things first, you're going to win an autographed copy of Brandon's book. But before we get you off the line, is there any questions you may have for Brandon?
Not really. I just look forward to enjoying the book.
Definitely, man. Well, we're going to have him, if you hold the line, I'm going to get some information from you, and we're going to have him autograph the book for you, and I'll definitely make sure it's either delivered to you or you can pick it up here at the station, okay?
And then I enjoyed the show today as well. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, man. Hold the line. I'll get back with you in a second.
All right. Thank you.
Congratulations on your win.
So Brandon, do you find that you have a lot of support from women, or is it basically men buying into the whole thing?
It's both. It's I would say half and half. I would say half and half. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is your approach differently for women when it comes to selling the book or getting them to read it, or will you basically have the same approach for a woman as you would a man? Because women could be in prison as well, correct?
Yeah, definitely. It's not this. It's really not a gender thing. You know, we all can be in prison. And again, the prison it's a mental prison. It's a stronghold that everybody has a stronghold. So no matter who you are, we all have some type of stronghold that's in our life that needs to be broken. So again, this can be for anybody, but it is geared towards men.
All right. You have another caller, Brandon. Caller, are you there? Hi, caller, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Who am I speaking with?
This is Alicia.
Wow. So I guess you're the lucky winner of a second book, huh?
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
You have any questions for Brandon?
Yes, I've been enjoying the conversation very much, and I wanted to ask him, what does he think needs to happen for men to start effectively communicating with each other?
For men to start effectively communicating with each other, we just gotta come out, just step out and be. And what I mean by that is just get out of your shell. You know, we can talk about everything else. We can talk about sports. We can talk about anything else. We got the opportunity to talk about the same thing that's holding us down, that's holding us back, and be honest. You know, so we just got to be bold. That's all.
Do you have any plans with connecting with the school system about possibly creating mentor programs for boys?
It's definitely been a thought. I'm definitely working along with some other guys that actually do mentoring programs. So that is definitely an option. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, awesome. I've been really enjoying the conversation. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Definitely. And we're going to make sure that you the books get out to you. You either go pick them up here at the station, or we definitely make sure it reaches you. All right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for enjoying WMEG.
All right.
And while we was on the line, we was getting another call, and I don't want them to think that we forgot them, so I'm actually going to call and put them on the line with us now.
Cool.
My apologies, brother. We was live on the air with another call, but I definitely wanted to call you back so you can get what it is you had to get off your chest. Who am I talking to right now?
Yeah, it's Stash, man.
How you feeling, brother?
I'm good, brother, man. First off, congratulations on your book.
Thank you,
I
brother.
wanted to definitely congratulate you on your book, and we need more positive. Whether it's spiritual, your path following God, or just consciousness or awareness, I believe that it's real important that we have positive brothers, young or old, because we lost. Baltimore's lost. So I really applaud your efforts and you coming with your walk with Christ and you sharing it with the rest of the world. So even if you have one person with that book, man, I believe it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Praise God.
And definitely, just so everybody listening know who we're talking to, we're talking to Stash. He's the host of Diamonds in the Rough. It comes on each and every Friday night at 7 p.m. And he has a platform for all unsigned artists, and it gives them a chance to play their music. So when you came in the station today, you said to me that you had a single that you was about to drop. That was the first person I thought of. So we definitely got to get you back in the building, man. You can tell your story, and he'll be glad to play that single for you, man.
Got it, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, man, we could do this whole thing over again, man. I set up an interview when you come down to the station, man, because, like I say, man, you never know who you're affecting with your story.
Yes,
and
sir.
even if it's just affecting you, man, that's just a beautiful thing, man, because there's so many people that's lost out here. So I would love to have you on the station. I'd love to hear your music as well.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you supporting the Movement Midday Madness show, man. And keep on spreading the word for me, all right, Stash?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, holler at you later on, brother.
All right, man.
All right. Now, that's funny, man, because, you using the outlet, the media outlet of your book, but then you also said that you're adding music to it, which is a spinoff of the book. What is the one thing that you think that the listening audience is going to capture from your music that they didn't get from the book?
Just my energy.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm this laid back person, but when it comes to music, I go in on the music. So you'll get my energy, and you'll get the raw, you'll get the realness. So yeah.
So is this something that I can pop the top and put the windows down and bump, or is it something I need to be sitting at my desk with my headphones on?
Both. Both. Yeah. And, I want to give a shout out to my man Chris Lay too, because he on the upcoming track. So
okay.
Yeah, the upcoming track is called Breaking Out. So look out for that soon.
So is music a passion for you, or is it just another means of revenue, just a hobby, or something that you want to use your voice for?
I always love music.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before I even think about writing a book, I've been writing rhymes, writing poems and stuff like that. So yeah, I've always loved music.
Who's your target audience with your music?
Definitely the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the youth and men.
Okay. Now, with you, when you coming from the perspective of a man of God, are you able to share your stories and share your experiences through your church family, or is it like two separate worlds?
No, yeah, I'm able to share. Yeah, definitely able to share with my church family.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I've done that. I've done that a couple times. We have a service what's called Grave Clothes, and we give our testimony about what we've been through. So yeah, definitely.
Well, Dad, I really appreciate you coming by today, man. It really means a lot to me to have you here, and I definitely want to shout out to everyone that was tearing my phone line up as well. You could have called this man directly. He's very approachable. Why don't you tell them how they can actually acquire your book?
Well, if you want to get the book, you can get it through Amazon, and you can also, if you want to get it directly from me, get it autographed, you can reach me at _ B.Saved at Instagram, and you can send $15 to my Cash App, which is $B.Saved, B.SAVED, and I will personally mail out an autographed book to you. So again, if you want to get an autographed book from me, you can hit me on Instagram at _ B.Saved and send $15 to $B.SAVED, B.Saved, and you can get the autographed copy. And if you just want to get get your own copy without the autograph, you can actually order it from Amazon.
Now, I have a friend that's an author right now. Shout out to my man J.M. Benjamin. And one of the things that he did, because he actually started his career as an author while he was incarcerated.
Okay.
So one of his priorities is making sure those behind the wall have access to his book. Are you allowing those behind the wall to have access to your book as well?
That's definitely one of the avenues that I definitely want to attain, is to actually get this book inside of the prison. So, you know, if that's possible, yeah, let's make it happen. Well, I know it's possible, so, you know, let's just make it happen.
Definitely, man. And I'm gonna do everything on my end, man, to keep the name in the air and keep the book moving forward. I appreciate that I have my autographed copy. I'm gonna send it today, and I'm gonna knock it out, and I promise you, I give you my feedback on it. And everyone out there that's listening right now, man, once again, if you want to get in touch with my man Brandon Bennett, you can reach him on Instagram at
@_B.Saved. Brandon B.Saved Bennett. It is @_B.Saved.
Facebook
is Brandon B.Saved Bennett, or you can go to @Prison Break Debut.
And we missed anything. What about Twitter? Is there Twitter?
I don't even remember my Twitter.
That's fine. And if all else fails, y'all can reach me here at the station at 443-267-6558, and I'll be sure to put you in contact with my man. It's your favorite DJ, Mr. Get It Done, your shooter DJ Rock Nice, in the building. We're going to pay some bills, man. We're going to come back. We're going to jump into that Our Request Hour. All right? Let's go.